Welcome to the Asset Zone training demo.
My name is Samantha, and I'm the North American Asset Zone representative, and today I'll be providing a high-level overview on the tools Asset Zone has to offer. Here you're viewing the main landing page of Asset Zone. Asset Zone provides an internal marketplace for managing idle surplus assets. Asset Zone is an entirely password-protected site that will be privately hosted for your company. So only approved users will have access to this site. It can allow approved staff globally to view and post idle equipment for redeployment, sale, valuations, or it can be used for inventory purposes as well. So the verbiage on this landing page has been customized to your company's needs. Up at the top left-hand corner here, you will see your company's logo. This is a shortcut that does take you right back here to the home page. So you can go ahead and click on that, or simply click on the home button right below. That'll take you right back here to this main page. Now under that, you'll see the section that says latest news. You might either see your company's news feed, or we might just have the default news feed included as well, which is the Go Industry Dev Biz News. Under that section, there might be some important information here, so try to glance over that. Sometimes we include contact information. And under that, there might be another section as well, so make sure to take a look at those sections to see any key important information. Now, up at the very top here, you'll see the alert section. Usually there's a welcome message incorporated into this section here. You might want to read over this. It usually gives you some key important information, and any particular instructions, make sure to take a look at that as well. Now, the main focal point on this home page here is what we call the zone summary section. All right, so assets that are managed through what we call our 5 zones here in the center box. I will give you a brief description of each, and then we're going to dive in with a little more detail. So the first zone is called the hold zone. Now, the hold zone is a place where you can capture the final disposition of an asset, whether it was sold, scrapped, donated, disposed of, or even if it's still currently in use. Sometimes there may not be any immediate need to redeploy, sell, or value the asset, so the hold zone is a perfect place to keep inventory. Every asset does include an audit trail as well, which will track the life cycle of that asset, which will allow you to see the history trail of the asset, who uploaded it, who canceled it, and it gives you the date and time stamp as well for you. Now, the next zone here is the value zone. This is an optional zone. You may or may not see this within your asset zone, but just so you know what it's here for. The users can request a certified valuation of an asset by submitting a request directly into the system. This request goes to the desk of our certified appraisal team, who would contact the requester for the next steps. So generally, we produce appraisals on equipment when it's moving from one taxing authority to another, and an FMV or fair market value appraisal is needed. So if you just need a general worth of the item, please contact your account manager or your project manager, and they can provide this to you. Okay, and again, this is an optional zone, so you may or may not see this within your asset zone. Now, the next zone is the redeploy zone, and the redeploy zone allows the users to list idle equipment that may be of use to another facility within your company. So it also allows the user to search and request the transfer of assets that may be of use to another site. So equipment can be listed in the redeploy zone for a desired amount of time. This may be 30, 60, 90 days. Every company chooses their own. Once it reaches the end of that period, you could now extend the time that it sits in this zone, or you could move it to another zone, such as the sell zone. Now, the sell zone takes idle equipment directly to our external marketplace, where it could be sold at an auction or negotiated sale. So assets that are not candidates for internal redeployment can be listed directly into the sell zone here. Once the assets are approved for sale, your assets would be assigned into a sale and initiate the sales sequence. The last zone here is the find zone. Now, the find zone allows the user to create a wish list of items that they would like to search for within the company before purchasing new. So once that wish list is created, the find zone will begin searching for potential assets that match that request. And users would be notified by email of each potential match that the system has identified. Now over to the right-hand side here, you will see something called a featured availability and a featured request. So just to go into detail of what these are, the featured availability here ties into the redeployment tool. So if you have a cherry piece item that you really want to show off to others within your company, what you're able to do is upload that asset into the redeploy zone and flag your asset as a featured asset, which would allow more visibility into the assets that you're offering that the company has. Now this below here section is called the featured request. This now ties into the find zone. So when a user goes in and creates a wish list, you have the option to flag your wish list as a featured request where others can see the items that you're looking for. And you'll see here that it says they need it by a certain date. So again, the top section is assets that you have. The bottom section is assets that you're looking for. Okay, great. So let's move on. In the zone summary section, you will have some options here. You can simply upload assets by clicking the Add button here, or you can click on the View button as well. That'll be your option to view assets that are currently in that zone. If you do have some other permissions, you might see these Manage buttons as well, and you can manage the assets from this section as well. Now to load an asset into a zone, all you have to do is click on this Add button here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Sell zone and go ahead and click on Add. Now when you're adding assets, you do have a couple options. A user can upload assets individually by entering details now, or you have the option to upload them in bulk by uploading from a spreadsheet. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the first option here. Now, when loading assets, minimal information is required for each zone, but a wide number of fields are available. You'll see some of these might be customized to your company's needs, but anything with a red asterisk is required pieces of information. Anything without the asterisk is just there as optional. So let's take a look at the first box. This first one here says an asset ID number. An asset ID number is a unique internal identifier of your asset. And your company may have something like this already in place. If you're unsure of what to include here, go ahead and ask your account manager and they'll be able to assist you here. The next section is category. So you'll be able to select a category from the options on the drop-down. We do have a wide range of categories here available, so try to narrow it down and pick the one you feel fits best. Once you select a category, you'll then have an option to select a subcategory. So again, just use the drop-down and try to pick one of these that you feel fits best. All right, and in the title section, that'll be the next field you enter. So this might have a drop-down for you as well, like you see here on our page. So we'll go ahead and click that as well. If you don't have a drop-down and it allows you to type something in, just put a short, brief description of the asset. This would be a title. So what is it? Is it a scanner, a laptop, a computer, a cell phone? Whatever it may be, enter that information here. The description is where you want to put your full detailed description of that asset. So that could include the year, the make, the model, again, the title, what is it, if it is a vehicle or a machine, make sure to include the approximate mileage or the approximate hours on the asset. This is something that you want to include as well, would be the VIN number, the serial number. If it is an electronic, does it power on, does it power off? Does it have any pieces of information that the buyer should know? Does it come with anything that could increase the value of the asset? Does it come with a cable, a charger, a battery? So that's information that definitely a buyer would want to know. So when you're writing up these descriptions, always put yourself in the buyer's shoes. What would they want to know? Okay. Now these next sections here, you'll see make and model. These are just optional fields. So if you have the information, make sure to include it. Now taking a look at the next section, the division. So you'll see a list of divisions available for your company. Go ahead and choose the division. The next field is your location. So this is the physical location of where the asset's sitting. Go ahead and select that here from the drop-down. The next field is sublocation. Now this is here just for you to remember where the item's sitting. If you do have a large facility, this is very helpful. It could be in room number 5 or building number 2. So it's always going to include that information. Now the next field is the asset contact. This is the person responsible for the asset who can answer questions. So you might pick yourself on the list or your supervisor, but you'll see the different usernames available. Simply select the person who should be the contact on that asset. Now, the next one here is currency. We are a global market, so you will see all the different options here. But for the most part, you'll probably select U.S. dollars. All right, now the quantity is generally always going to be a 1. We are selling one asset in one lot to one buyer. If you would like to group your assets together, that's something you can do as well. For example, if you want to sell, let's say, 5 laptops, they're all identical, same make, same model, you can group them and bundle them together. So up in your description here, all you would include is to say 5 each, and then you would carry on with your description with the year, the make, the model, and you may need to include 5 different serial numbers now though. And if one has damage, a broken screen, and one has a missing keyboard or something of that nature, that's the information you'd want to include here. But you can group those items together. Okay. Now, again, anything without the asterisk you can skip over, so if you don't have that information or don't want to include that, you don't have to. Now, taking a look at the next red asterisk, this will be the current condition. You do see the different options available. Only select new if an item is brand new, straight from the factory, still in the seal. Otherwise, use your best judgment here. The next one will be the first sale from date. This is the earliest date the asset can be sold, and normally that's just going to be today's date. So if I'm entering this into the sell zone today, I would select today's date. Okay, so you'll select that from the drop-down here. If you want to include your net book value, you can do that as well. Your reserve price. So this is the minimum price that you would accept on the asset. If you do have a reserve, make sure to include it here. Now the next section is documents. If you would like to upload any documents, you can do that as well. These will stay only within Asset Zone unless you request to put them live on the web. So this is the section where you could upload a manual or a document or anything of that nature. This is where you can do that here. But just remember, it will not transfer over to the web, and the buyers will not see this particular section. If you would like the buyers to see those, make sure to upload those under the image section. We do recommend at least 3 to 4 photos per asset. So try to include really great pictures of the asset. Usually a 3/4 view or so is the best image. And taking a look at ours here, I have 3 different photos for my particular asset, and I could simply upload it here at the bottom. Okay, usually that 3/4 view is going to give you that best aspect of that asset. Now, you can upload as many photos as you'd like, but please stick to the image resolution size. If you do upload a photo that is quite large, you may run into some issues there, but as long as you stay within these standards here, you won't have any problems. All right. So once you're done inputting all the information and you've got your photos ready to go, you can simply click Save here at the bottom, or you can click Save and add another. So if you want to go back to this page with a fresh screen, you can click on this button here and it'll upload your asset into the system and you can move on to the next. Or the other option is once you click Save and add another, you will see a different option that pops up on your screen that allows you to duplicate the information that you just input on this page. So let's say, for example, you have 2 different laptops. You'd like to sell them separately, and they both have different serial numbers. So what you'd want to do is just edit that information on that second page, and then you'll be able to submit those assets at that time. Okay? So this is how to upload one asset at a time. And if you did miss any information, it will give you the red arrows at the top here and over to the right of each field. So then you'll be able to go back and enter that information. Okay, so now let's go back to our home page. We're going to take a look at how to do the upload in bulk. So let's go back to our cell zone and click on the Add button from the home page. Now we'll look at this second option down. It says Upload from a spreadsheet. So we'll go ahead and click on that. As you'll see on this screen, it gives you 3 easy steps to follow. The first step is to download a blank asset upload spreadsheet. Over to the right-hand side, you'll see this button here that says Get Template. Please make sure to get a new, fresh template each time you're trying to upload assets. The reason being for that is we do constantly add new users, new locations, new information into your asset zone. So always make sure you're working off of the latest template. Otherwise, if you're a new user, you might not see someone's information or location on there just yet. All right, now I do have a spreadsheet already filled out as an example here, so let's go ahead and take a look at this. Over to the left-hand side of the spreadsheet, you'll notice that it says Cell Zone Assets. So each zone has its own spreadsheet for uploading assets. So make sure you're uploading to the appropriate zone. Now everything on this spreadsheet here, you'll notice that it's very similar to what we saw on that previous page. Anything in red here, just like the red asterisk, is mandatory information. So this is required that we must fill out. This orange color is just advisory, so this is optional. So let's take a look at our first column here. I have an asset ID number. I have my make and model. My category, I have selected it from the drop-down. So I'm uploading a pickup truck, which is going to fall into the vehicles category. Now my subcategory is a truck, so it's going to be under automobiles and light trucks. Your title field, you always want to check if there's anything available in the drop-down. If there's not, just enter a short, brief description of what that asset is. Now, taking a look at our description here, you'll notice that we included the year, make, the model, again, what the item is, the approximate mileage, the VIN number, and then any additional notes about the asset. Does it have new tires? Does it have any damage? Is there anything that's included that could increase the value? So again, that's what you want to include here, okay? Now your quantity, again, is always going to be a 1. Even if you are grouping items together, your main quantity will always be a 1 because you're selling 1 unit as a whole. But you can go in here into the description and say 2 each if you want to sell 2 as a bundle to the same buyer, okay? Now your asset contact, so simply select that from the drop down here. Same thing with division, location, So these spreadsheets are very simple to fill out. If we scroll over to the right-hand side here, you'll notice your sublocation is something you can enter. It's only optional. Currency, I selected US dollars. If I have a net book value, I can enter that here. Current condition. Now, the only thing that's different on this spreadsheet that you want to pay close attention to is this for sale from date. On the other page, we saw a calendar that popped up for us. This time, we have to enter a formatted date. So make sure you follow the format at the very top of the page, 2 digits for the month, 2 digits for the day, and 4 for the year. Now, your reserve price, again, is optional, but include that if you have a reserve. Now, over to the right-hand side, there are some extra added fields here in gray. These are only here for you if you'd like to add them, but if you don't have this information, don't even worry about this, okay? Now, please note that on a spreadsheet here, one line is considered one lot. So you can include as many lots as you'd like on the spreadsheet. Just know that one line is going to be grouped together, so that will be one lot. Okay? And keep in mind that there are no photos on the actual spreadsheet. This is just the straight information of that asset. Okay, so once you have everything filled out on your template here, go ahead and save it to your desktop. You'll come back to Asset Zone. At the very third step, when ready, upload your spreadsheet. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Browse. I'm going to select my template. And then we're going to go ahead and click on Upload. And it's going to check for any errors and all the data that we had input on there for you. Okay, over to the left-hand side, it says that there was one asset checked. The little green check mark means everything was filled out correctly. It tells you your asset ID number, the title of the asset, and the description. If you had made an error, this is where it's going to tell you over to the right-hand side. It'll say maybe you forgot to fill out the title field or the description field. It'll tell you that error over here to the right, and then you'll be able to go back to your template, make that correction, and come back to this page and re-upload. Okay? But it looks like we got the green check mark, so everything is good. Let's go ahead and click on Proceed with Upload. Yes, I want to continue. Now, on this next screen, it's going to show that our asset is actually uploading into the system. And we have a successful message. You have successfully uploaded one asset. Click the buttons below to either view your uploaded asset, or you could upload more assets. So let's go ahead and click on View. Now, keep in mind we just uploaded the information for the asset. We haven't done the photos just yet. So if we take a look at this asset here, go ahead and click on it. And you'll be able to see all the information of the asset on this next page here. So we do have the option to edit the asset one more time. If maybe I forgot some information, I can come back and include it. But here you'll see the description, where it's located, who the contact is, all the information, the facts and specs about the item. Over to the left-hand side, you'll see we haven't uploaded any images yet. You'll see underneath the photo, the status. So this tells us that it's in the sell zone, and it's currently flagged for sell. Okay, so we just put it into the sell zone. Underneath that, you'll see financial and logistic information. So this is where your reserve price will be appearing. And then at the top, if I am an approver of the location, keep in mind I will have an approve button. If I'm just a basic general user, all I will have access to is uploading the asset, and then someone would have to approve that asset later on. And usually that might be a location manager, whoever has the access to approve. So just make sure you know what access you have. Now hitting the back button here, let's go ahead and upload the photos for this asset. So as you saw when we were doing one asset at a time, you can click that edit button and you can upload photos one by one. Now I'm going to show you an option where you can upload the photos in bulk as well. If we're taking a look at the top right-hand corner here, you will see an add button. So this is a shortcut that will take you back to that add page. So let's go ahead and click on add. Now you'll notice the third option down is upload images for existing assets. So we can go ahead and click on this. And this is to upload images in bulk. Now you'll see some lengthy information here. If we just quickly take a look at the example, just try to follow the example. So if your asset ID is IN0001 and you'd like to attach 3 photos in a particular order, this is how you're going to name those photos on your desktop. Okay, so the first one would be IN0001_1 for the first photo. Your next picture would be called your asset ID number _2. Next one, asset ID _3, and so on. So let me show you my example here. If we're taking a look at my asset that we just uploaded on that spreadsheet, you'll notice I have asset ID 40_1, asset ID 40_2. So these are my photos here. It's very easy to rename and just copy and paste this information and change that last digit. Or if you do have a photo renaming tool on your computer, I do have something called Microsoft Office. So that's something that I personally use, but you can do this in many different other programs. So just make sure to rename your photos, put the order that you'd like them in. Always try to put that first photo as the best angle of that asset, okay? Now, scrolling down, after you basically do your naming, what you're going to do next is come down here to what we call the jump loader. Now, this tool works best in Internet Explorer, so bear that in mind. If you are using Google Chrome or Firefox, you may incorporate some issues here because those two web browsers, they do not support Java. So please keep that in mind. If this page is not appearing for you, switch over to Internet Explorer or maybe a different browser that would allow the program. Now, once I have my images selected over to the left-hand side, I'm simply going to drag them and drop them right into this page. And you'll notice this button at the bottom that says, after selecting images, click on this button. So now, these photos are going to start syncing to my asset because of that asset ID number. You'll notice how fast it was. I got 3 little green check marks. And over to the left, this just popped up. It says View Results. So I can go ahead and click on that here. And now it's going to show us our asset is complete. Now we have all the information and we have our photos. So let's go ahead and click on that asset and review it one last time. Okay, now it tells us we have 3 images that we've uploaded. We can go ahead and take a look at those images. Okay, here's our first photo. You can scroll over by the arrows, or you can just click the little thumbnails here at the bottom. So everything looks great. I have all my information, and at this point, I'm done. I can edit one last time if I'd like, but other than that, if you've got all your information within Asset Zone, you're done at that point. Okay, so that's how to do the bulk upload of the spreadsheet and the bulk upload of the photos. So it's a very simple process. Now, moving on, let's go back to the home page. What I do want to talk about next is searching for an asset. So how do I search for an asset? Up at the top right-hand corner, we do have a search field. So if you're trying to find an asset, click on this box. You can enter the asset ID number, the make, the model, the VIN number, the serial number, anything you know about that asset, you can punch that in here and hit search. If you would like an advanced search tool, right on the home page here in these big blue boxes, you'll notice looking for an asset. If you click on this Find Asset button here, you're able to enter a keyword. If you want to look at assets in a particular zone, a particular status, If you know what division and location they're tied to, you can enter that information. Or again, you can enter asset ID number. Okay, so this just helps you narrow down what you're looking for. Now let's come back to the home page here. And what I want to talk about next is the redeployment process. So let's go ahead and take a look at our redeployment zone. I'm going to go ahead and click on View. So the redeployment process is very simple. Some of you may be using this more than others, but basically what you're going to do here is take a look at assets that are available for redeployment. So you'll notice over here, sometimes there may not be a photo uploaded to the asset, but you'll have all the information, the location, and you do have a contact information as well on that particular asset. Okay, so we can see all these assets here are currently available for redeployment. You'll notice over to the right-hand side, there's a button that says Add to Cart. So it's just as if you're shopping at an online retailer. You can review that item. And let's go ahead and take a look at one of these here. Let's look at this first one. So this is just a test asset, but if I'm looking at it, I could go over all the details. It's got a contact person on here that I can ask questions to. It's got all the facts and specs about the item. If there were photos, you could review those here as well. If you want to redeploy that particular item to your location, you would simply click on Add to Cart. Okay, and then once you have added items to your shopping cart, it'll show you all the items within your cart. So it looks like I have 3 assets here that I've chosen. I can remove any of them at any time if I'd like. Okay, and then once you scroll down, you'll see a button here that says Checkout Cart. So if I want to redeploy these 3 assets to my location, let's go ahead and put in that redeployment request. So we'll click on Checkout Cart. And now what we'll have to do is complete what we call a transfer request form. So up at the top here, it tells me my 3 assets. It gives me the asset ID number, the current location of the asset, and the quantity of each asset that's available. Over to the right-hand side, it tells you what exactly the item is and if there is a transfer cost involved. Okay. Now down below that, what you'll be doing is entering this section here. It does auto-populate, so you may only have to change 1 or 2 things if needed, but you'll enter your information here. So where would you like to transfer the asset to? What division is it going to? What location is it going to? Who's going to be receiving that item? So it could be yourself, or it could be someone else within your company, maybe your manager or supervisor. You can include their name there. If you don't see their name on the list, over to the right-hand side, you can input some information as well. If there is any cost involved, you can include a bill to, division, and location. This number here will generate a reference ID number for the transfer. And then below that, we do have an additional notes section as well. So if you have any questions or shipping instructions or anything that you'd like to add, this is where you can include it to the person who's receiving this request. Sometimes we've noticed that you can have multiple requests on the same particular asset. So this is a good section. Why are you trying to redeploy that asset? So that could be some information in there why you need it more than someone else. Okay. Now once this section here is filled out, you're going to come down to the bottom and click on Save and Process. So once you do this, the transfer request would now be emailed to both the asset owner as well as the approver to that particular location who could approve or deny that request. So that's how the redeployment process goes. It is very simple. If you do have any questions, you can always follow up with the Asset Zone team or your account manager. Okay. Now let's get back to our home page here. The next thing that I want to touch over is the reports. So the reports are available to you in real time. We do have a section called the Asset Intelligence Center, and if we go ahead and click on that, it's going to open up this next page here, which is called the Asset Intelligence Center. It offers high-level overview reports. In each of the different zones, it tells you how many assets you have, if there are any actions that are required on those items, and if you have your suggestions set up, there might be suggestions as well. Okay, it looks like we have a lot of assets in our zones here. If we scroll down a little bit, you'll be able to view some of the pie charts. At the very, very top here, you can view detailed charts. So if you're looking for something more like a bar graph or any type of chart to put that information in, this is where you'll be able to find that. Okay, and you'll be able to export this out of Asset Zone. Now underneath that, if you're looking for more hard data reports, we have something called View Our New Improved Report. So if you want to look at all assets within Asset Zone, if you want to look at your scrapped assets, your sold and settled assets. So we do have a lot of different reports available to you at any time. So again, these are high level. If you are looking for something more specific, if you come up to this top blue bar, every zone does have a dashboard. So if we're taking a look at the redeploy zone or the sell zone dashboard, let's go ahead and click on one of these. What you'll be able to do is pull zone-specific reports depending on the zone. So scrolling down a little bit here, again, we have some different charts that are available. Over to the left-hand side, you'll have some different charts of the sell zone summary, of the sold assets, or again, if you want to see those hard data reports, that's what's available here as well. So if we want to look at a sell zone summary report, I would go ahead and click on that sell zone summary. You can enter a date range if you'd like. You can enter a particular division or location. You could search by country. So whatever you're looking for, you'll be able to find that here. If you just want to search the entire system, go ahead and click on Generate Report. And all the information within your sell zone will appear on this next report. As you can see here, it tells us how many records, so how many assets we currently have in the sell zone. And if I scroll down a little bit here, you're going to see a lot of detailed information. Okay, so we've got asset ID, title, make, model, description. So this looks like all the information that we filled out previously. You can scroll over to the right to see more information as well. So whatever's been entered into the system, this is what you'll be able to view. You've got your asset contact, division, location. If we scroll over to the right, all the way to the end, you'll start seeing all the sold information. Okay, so some of this here isn't entered yet because maybe these assets haven't sold. But you'll see a sold price, a lot number, an invoice number, the date the item was shipped. So all this information is available to you within these reports. Now, if you take a look up at the top, you can export this directly into Excel. And the reports are small enough to where you can save them on your desktop. You can email them to others as well. And again, these are in real time. Okay. So if you do have any questions on the reports, you can always reach out to, again, the Asset Zone team or your account manager. All right, getting back to our home page here. Now what I want to touch over is the help section. Over to the top right-hand corner, we do have a help section. If you forget how to do anything, always come over to here is a great starting point, and we have an overview section. What is Asset Zone? So you can watch tutorial videos and different pieces of information that you can read over as well. If you're trying to load an asset, if you're trying to move an asset from zone to zone, if you're searching for an asset, all this information is a really great starting point. And we also have how-to training videos. So if you'd like to watch how to upload a single asset, if you want to touch over again how we did the bulk loading, the bulk photos, so these videos are always available in this section here too as well. All right, one thing I want to touch over is this My Account button as well. Okay, so you will see something that says User Preferences. And let's go ahead and click on this section. This is how you can set up your email notifications. So So if you're getting too many emails, if you're not getting enough emails, you can always come into the user preferences, and this is where you can set those up. This one here towards the bottom that says email me weekly summaries of assets available for redeployment. This is a really great one. If you want to see the new assets that have been uploaded into the redeployment tool on a weekly basis, that's a really great email to receive. Now the next one here is going to be changing your password under this My Account section. You will receive a generic password once you have your login credentials. So what you'll want to do is come into the password section and create a new password. Please make sure just to follow the rules here up at the top and create a unique password. Now, the next one under the My Account field is My Reports. So just so you know why this is here, the My Reports section is basically if you are an equipment contact for any asset, you'll have the availability to pull the My Assets report. So if you want to just look at your assets that have been redeployed, your assets that have been sold, you can come in here and see those different reports that are available. Okay, and the last thing that I would like to mention, over to the right-hand side, we do have this green support tab. If you ever get stuck, if you ever have any questions, you can always click on the green support tab and a little box will pop up. Over to the left-hand side, it does give you troubleshooting information. So if you're trying to load an asset, search for an asset, and you're having issues, you can always come over here for help, or you can send the Asset Zone team a message directly. So just punch in a subject, a message, you can attach a screenshot or a file here and click send, and this will come over to the Asset Zone team and we'll be able to assist you. Normally you'll receive a response within 24 hours. We are available Monday through Friday, and we do have extended hours as well. Okay, perfect. So as you can see, Asset Zone is a great tool that can help maximize and capitalize a company's assets. Asset Zone is virtually IT-free. It's very user-friendly. And by using Asset Zone, your company will be able to track, manage, and organize all of your assets in one easy, dynamic program. So this concludes the demonstration for today. Thank you so much for attending. The next step now would be to email us so we can go ahead and create your username and password for you and let us know that you have completed the training. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.